Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers with our main guest today. Anything could happen. Stay tuned. And he's got the rundown.
Sam, first some breaking news. Republicans met this week in Las Vegas, and in the Senate they have emerged unified. For a change, they're going to fight Democrats instead of each other. Senator Raggio keeps his majority leadership. And on today's show, Harvey Whittemore, attorney, lobbyist, now is getting a gaming license. Does that mean he has to quit the Nevada Resort Association? Sam?
And a lot of pundits on the pundit panel today. Daryl, Capurro, Tom Sargent, Paul Enos, and Fred Hillerby. It's all coming up next on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
The Abowed family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Catch a straight, dine at 8. Lucky you. Lucky you. Dance till 1. Have some fun. Lucky you. Lucky you. Taste the shrimp. Have a sip. Try the pool. Play it cool. At the Sienna Hotel Spa Casino. Lucky you.
The biggest risk your company can take.
Well, Barbara, you did very well on your interview.
Hiring employees can help your business get to the next level.
And your resume looks outstanding.
And it can also expose you to corporate crimes and costly lawsuits that can bring your company to its knees.
So, we'd like to offer you a position.
Before you hire another employee, hire the professionals at Employer Links. Call today to get our free CD-ROM, The Top 8 Risk of Hiring Employees.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years. Call 882-1700 to see what we can do for your organization.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad, political analyst Ande Engleman on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the News 4 Broadcast Center, here's Sam Shad.
Looking like he's recovered from the legislative session, Harvey Whittemore joins us with Lionel Sawyer and Collins. It's a pleasure to have you here as always.
Good morning, Sam. Good morning, Andy. It's great
morning.
to be here.
This is your first visit since the legislature ended.
Has it ended?
And yesterday was the last workshop on the Tax Commission. Let's begin with that. What was your analysis of this legislative session, or all three of them?
Well, let me tell you where I think we are. Obviously, the Tax Commission still has work to do to develop implementing regulations with respect to the tax law. I think those are going very well. The legislature adopted a specific strategy with respect to the imposition of taxes. I think it's going to come out okay in terms of what the regulations hold for the various impacted parties. So I think that process is working well. Dino and the rest of the Tax Commission section, these folks.
Can I translate that? So
Sure.
Basically, it doesn't apply to casinos, but it does apply to banks.
The increased payroll tax doesn't apply to casinos. Never was intended to.
Right. Okay.
So that's the simple translation from a client perspective.
I just wanted to understand that.
Harvey, going back over the legislative session, if there was one thing you could have done differently, or you could have changed and had, what one thing could we have done differently that would have made the session better?
Well, I think from a public's perspective, one of the things that we could have done better was to explain that the difference between 700 million and 900 million, or 700 million and 800 million, 800 million, 900 million, wasn't that significant. When people said that there were going to be no new taxes. No, even the most conservative general population of legislators who were saying they were going to support something was $700 million in new taxes, which pointed out that Governor Gwynn was right, that the state had significant resource deficit and needed to do something about it. So I think the debate, if we could have framed the debate a little bit better, it would have been to say that the difference wasn't that great. It became too partisan right off the bat and created this, I think, chasm between the normal process of being able to develop a compromise. Ultimately, it did.
You know, I guess in brief, a public relations effort would both outside of the legislature and within the legislature would have been more helpful.
It would have, Sam. There's no doubt that people got into positions where they reached a degree of ossification that wasn't fair. I mean, they really put their feet in and just said, okay, this is where we're standing, and didn't move. That's unusual for a legislative process.
Okay, I've got to ask you a question about the tax commission before we move on. Now I'll let you dive in, all right? It's going to kill me. The brothels say that they want to put money in as tax. Mm-hmm. And they're being told you can't do it for 2 years. Don't we have a way like the federal government has that if you want to contribute money to the state that you can do that to help with the budget?
Oh, I think they could obviously make contributions. I mean, the bottom line is there are a few brothels which would likely be subject to the tax based upon the size. Again, in every bill you draw lines and you either fall under the definition where you're impacted by it or you don't. And so when they came up with the definition of those institutions which would be subject to live entertainment, it didn't cover all brothels. I think George Flint wanted all brothels to be covered. I think the decision as to whether brothels as an institution should be taxed is one for the legislature to make. And I think everyone's correct. I think the tax department is correct. It's going to have to wait for 2 years. On the other hand, they can voluntarily certainly give money based upon a rate that they think is appropriate to the state coffers. I'm sure there's a mechanism that can happen.
Folks, you heard it on this program, right?
I want to talk about politics just a few minutes more. We've got a recall going on for the governor. What do you think about that?
Well, in the words of my dear friend Chris Wicker, it's stupid. I mean, there might be 10% of the people in Nevada that would support it. I doubt that they'll get 50% of the required signatures. There is absolutely no chance that this is going to happen. Zero. It's not going to happen.
Plus, it would cost us a lot, $5 million that we don't have.
Nevadans aren't going to sit there and participate in a process like Californians did when their governor did nothing wrong. They may disagree with what happened, but for heaven's sakes, there was no malfeasance in office. There was no stealing of any of the state money. There was no great big crisis that he caused. He's responding to crises which are generated as a result of actions of others, i.e. gaming in California, Indian gaming. That diminishes the returns that Nevada has. It's not going to happen. I just don't see it.
Do you think there's a Republican in the state other than Jim Gibbons that can beat Senator Reed for his Senate seat?
Short answer, no. I think Jim Gibbons would have given Senator Reed a very tough battle. You're not going to see it. Congressman Gibbons is doing the right thing for the state of Nevada, his family, and his political career. I think it was a smart move. He gets to protect his seniority. I think that Jim and Don and the kids are going to be looking at other options in the state of Nevada. I don't see Congressman Gibbons doing things that he doesn't want to do. I think that this was something that he really didn't want to do. He wanted to keep options open potentially for governor.
You see him running for governor?
Potentially.
We'll take a break and I'll come back and I'll ask a question or two. Back here on Nevada Newsmakers.
Interest rates remain at all-time historic lows. Now's a great time to purchase or refinance in the Northern Nevada area. Hi, I'm Valerie Hedlund, Operations Manager of CTX Mortgage. We pride ourselves in giving face-to-face service, local processing, local underwriting, immediate loan approvals in a private and professional office setting. We at CTX choose to do business differently. This is our local team of processors and operations staff that are dedicated to providing you the highest level of service. Please call any of the loan officers on our CTX team.
Would you like to savor a Trento pork chop? Or maybe pasta rags with grilled chicken? Hugo's Tuscan Grill at D'Andrea is a celebration of color, flavor, and freshness. Each dish is created from natural, wholesome foods that is delicious and nutritious. Hugo's is a comfortable restaurant with breathtaking city views. If you enjoy great food and good company, visit us here at Hugo's. It's the best that dining can be. 2900 South D'Andrea Parkway in Sparks.
Welcome to Sushi Club, best sushi in town. The Sushi Club in Independence Square uses the best quality products. The sushi is dynamite, and the service is just wonderful.
The Sushi Club is bigger and better. We have 11 sushi chefs on staff, and the service is great.
All your friends will tell you that Sushi Club is the best place for the best sushi.
Come join us for lunch or dinner.
The Sushi Club, 294 East Moana Lane in the Independence Square.
Now that's great sushi.
If you love good food and you like good wine and all in a beautiful setting, we've got the perfect evening for you.
The Event Center at Red Hawk, Michael Mondavi Wine Dinner, Chef Ken and his fabulous food, 4 courses paired with Michael Mondavi wines. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh, it sounds perfect, Al. It's all coming up on September 18th right here at Red Hawk. Make sure you call early to get your reservation in. It's going to be an evening not to be missed.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're with Harvey Whittemore. And pleasure as always to have you here. Okay, let's talk about the Nevada Resort Association. MGM Mirage pulling out. What's the future for the Nevada Resort Association?
Well, I think the trade association is going to survive. I think there might be some changes in directions. Obviously, Terry's decision to have the MGM pull out was a signal that they're going to get more involved, not less involved. What he's really saying is, I'm going to take it to the next level. The trade association is still going to exist. He indicated to Bill Bible, our president, that obviously they're going to continue to work together on things. Our firm's relationship, my relationship with Terry and the MGM folks couldn't be better. And so I think it's one of those things that they're trying to add to the muscle of the trade association rather than diminish it. So I think it'll survive.
But not united we stand, divided we fall?
Real potential for that to be one of the things that happens, Sam, and I think that the MGM has to take that into account in terms of what they're doing. When you create a sort of a segmentation and they're in a position where they're standing alone, they may very well be a target, not one of the guys that's protected. And so that's a calculus that I'm sure that Terry and Glenn and the rest of the guys that are providing this Poonim will come up with things.
Yeah, because I heard that Glenn Schaefer was also not, in Circus Circus was not real happy with.
Well, I think Mike Ensign is really driving that decision, and I think he's made it very clear with Mike Sloan and everybody else that they're staying in. I don't see an indication yet that the trade association is going to split up. It just doesn't make sense long term for that to happen.
Were you surprised that business hung as well together as they did in the last session, put up enough money as they did in the last session, and do you think that they will continue to put up money going into the election cycle now?
Well, I think business did an extraordinary job getting their perspective of their message out. There's absolutely no doubt about it. I think that they were, number one, well funded. They were well represented. They have, a very talented team. I mean, literally, 20 to 40 people, top line people who were there every day. And I think that that's one of the things that you have to give them credit for. They certainly saw what was coming at them, and I think they got made inroads with respect to at least a core group of individuals. And again, remember, with this 2/3, 1/3, requirement, it makes it very hard for people who want to impose a tax to get anything done, because you can simply implement a blocking strategy.
Do you see them hanging together and putting out money for candidates now?
I do to a degree. I think a lot of people have a tendency to say, well, gee whiz, we did it and it's over. In politics, it's never over. It's just where's the next battle and where's the next election and what's going to happen.
And thank God that's why the show continues. Go ahead.
Harvey, I understand there's a possibility you may be getting a gaming license, and that could possibly taint your relationship with the Resort Association?
Let me tell you what's happening. Annette and I, we have recently received approval, or the company, Wendover Casinos, has recently received an approval to grant us an option. Whether Annette and I exercise the option is something that we're looking at. These are all steps necessary for Annette and I to take a look at some alternatives as to what we want to do. We haven't yet decided, but I can assure you this, that our intent with respect to holding that license will be for those funds coming in to be designated for the programs that we think are appropriate. It's not going to be coming to us, and we've got some exciting things that'll happen over the next 30, 60, 90 days, but I can't tell you right now until we work out some things, and I'll be happy to do it on the show, okay? You can put that down.
That's what we were going to ask.
Yeah, of course. But so the bottom line is, do I think that it's going to impact it? No, I think we'll be able to work those things out in such a way that for the next short-term period, I will continue to do some things with the Resort Association that I find exciting and fun, we'll continue to do that.
Short term.
2 years, 4 years, something like that.
Governor has already come out and said, no new taxes. We already know there's a $200 million shortfall. We're hearing that there's going to be cuts. We don't really see where there can be cuts, as we just had this huge battle to get the amount of money we needed. Where do you see that?
Sam, we're in a, I mean, again, I hate to use the phrase over and over again, it's a crossroads. You're not going to be able to fund state government, provide teachers raises, do the things that are necessary with the tax system that we have. There is a built-in $200 million deficit day one, next session. I don't know where they're going to make the cuts. I can assure you this, Governor Gwynn isn't going to propose new taxes, but there may be other folks, and you need to come up with a plan that funds state government and other components of providing services to the citizens in this state at an appropriate level. The debate's over what's appropriate and what's a fair tax system. It's that way every day in everything that we do. So it's going to be a problem.
Do you see gross receipts coming back again in the next session?
I don't know whether gross receipts is going to be the form of a tax or anything else. I can't tell you that. I don't know whether we're going to see it. I just can't tell you that.
But the people that you work for are not saying at this point.
They haven't given us any direction with respect to that. For heaven's sakes, we're still trying to recover from what just took place.
Yeah, but we have a show to do, so we have to keep going no matter what. So I mean, we're always looking for things.
Harvey, let me ask you a quick question about nuclear waste. We've had some people on the show saying, yes, no, we should negotiate, we shouldn't. Can we keep nuclear waste out of Nevada from your perspective?
My opinion as a lawyer, having looked at some of the water issues, is that I think that Nevada's position is pretty strong. I don't think that people have taken a hard look at specifically whether the utilization of water to allow for the storage of nuclear waste is in the health benefit and welfare of the people of the state of Nevada. In my opinion, it's not. And I think that being water is a state resource, I think that you've yet to see the state start to fight with respect to the utilization of water for that facility. I think that there's a real hope here that, again, we're going to be able to keep this out, and I think that it's silly to start negotiating for something that may not take place.
Last question here. I'd like you to handicap, if you would, the people who are likely to run on the Republican side against Senator Reid, not so much because they think they can beat him, but to get the statewide recognition they would need to run for future offices.
Well, there are a couple of people that fall in the categories. Obviously, you're going to have Zeiser, who's already filed, and he's going to go, and that's not to do anything other than just simply to try to run. Lorraine Hunt is being mentioned, Secretary of State Dean Heller is being mentioned, Brian Sandoval is being mentioned. I don't think those three, when they do the political calculus, will see that potentially losing will be helpful for their long-term benefit. If anybody believes they can win, you'll see them enter the race. I don't think that ultimately they'll reach that conclusion. Therefore, I don't think that any of those three will come in.
Okay, and very, very last question. You have to do a yes or no answer.
Okay, yes or no.
Is Jim Gibbons the marketing genius for coming up with these initiative petitions that keep
Yes
him
or
in the
no.
statewide public?
Yes or no?
Yes or no?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Harvey Whittemore, thanks for being here. We'll be back on Nevada Newsmakers right after this.
Before you head to Carson, take care of yourself with a visit to Tamarack Junction. Catch a hot cup of coffee and the morning news on one of our 32 TVs and enjoy the best food in South Reno. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
The Abowed family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Today's lesson, another reason to take the Gold Rush Club Card Challenge. With the Gold Rush Card, you really have 3 cards in one. Use your cash back. You still keep your comps and drawing tickets. Use your comps. You still keep your cash and drawing tickets. And with your drawing tickets, you could win thousands in cold hard cash every week. And still keep your cash back and comps. Does your club add up? Graduate to the Gold Rush Players Club. It's the smart thing to do. The Gold Dust West, south on Keystone, east on 4th.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo free checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Make your daily commute easy with breakfast or lunch at the Tamarack Junction. Enjoy daily specials, super fast service, and South Reno's freshest morning meals. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And we're back here with the pundit panel, and quite a few of them. Tom Sargent from the Attorney General's office, thank you for being here, your first visit. Paul Enos, Daryl McCurr, I'm sorry, Daryl. Daryl Capurro, and Fred Hillerby, your first visit, thank you for being here. All right, all of you heard Harvey's interview. Let's go around quickly and get reactions to any part of what he had to say. Tom,
I was pleased with what he had to say about Yucca. We do have 5 very good cases. The DOE has a long record of lying to the public. Promises broken. They've had 15 such money deals in the past, so negotiation's not an option.
Paul?
I was glad to hear Harvey was coming back to the legislature and he was still involved with the NRA. I think he's one of their more effective advocates and he's a good person to have at the legislature.
You guys were complimented by him on the effective job you did fighting taxes?
Yes, that was a very interesting comment that he made. But Paul's right. He's a very effective lobbyist who is easy to work with, and hopefully we won't have the same elements that were present in the last legislative session.
I thought I was supposed to be the one that was going to be nice to Harvey.
Well, you
Sounds
are.
like everybody's nice to Harvey. The one thing I do totally agree with Harvey on. I've been involved with the legislature, Daryl and I, probably the longest of anybody in the room. But this session, as Harvey said, the ability to reach a compromise was not there. It was very difficult. The one thing I would add to that, though, that concerned me, and I think we're seeing a little bit of that, although hopefully the package is in pretty good shape, is that when it came down to the last few days of the session, it was clear in my mind, and I'm sure to most of us that are involved in that the issue was not whether it was a good policy, it was whether you could get to the numbers of 28 and 14. And that was going to make the difference.
All of you are nodding your heads. And Tom, you had a unique perspective that, they were lobbying, I was covering, and you were there for a state agency, and that's a little different.
Sure. One of the difficulties I saw was that, and it's really, my history is in business, and or at least most of it is the issue of having simple majority on one side of the ledger and supermajority on the other. If it was the same on both sides, it would facilitate horse trading, which is what politics is all about.
So, all right, what do you guys think about this recall? Just jump in.
I think it's silly, I think it's imprudent, and I think it will, if the recall actually is successful, which I don't think it will be, I think it'll really have a disastrous impact on our state reputation.
What, a business perspective?
Definitely.
It won't be successful. The people who are involved, I think there's quite a question about what their motives are in that. There were a lot of hard feelings out of this legislative session, no question about it, and the governor is catching his share of the criticism of both the legislature and the executive branch. But is it a recall type situation? I don't think so.
I think it sends just a horrible message to people who might be interested in running for public office. It's a pretty thankless job to begin with, but then to find people who make decisions based on their honest belief about what things ought to be done at the state level and then find themselves subject to a recall is going to discourage, I think, I'm concerned that would discourage good people from seeking public office.
The Republicans emerged from their caucus the other day unified. Going after Democrats, they decided instead of each other, and Senator Raggio's keeping his majority leadership. But are we seeing conservatives splintering more of our parties now? I mean, what's happening here? Come on, people.
Well, I'm happy to respond. I think they're particularly, I guess I can't even say particularly in one house or the other, but in the Senate it was interesting, although that was not where the focus was because of the inability to get the one more vote to get to 2/3 in the Assembly. It was interesting that you saw some very conservative people, a small group, who began to have more influence on that body and on the leadership in the Republican Party.
I think, if anything, it will actually probably galvanize those people who are more conservative in nature because they were successful in holding the line, and I realize $836 million is a lot in taxes, but they were originally talking about $1.2 billion. So I think it will be of benefit to the conservative Republicans.
Classic growing pains. You know, we used to be a small state, and we're on our way to being something different. Used to be that we didn't make a big fuss about which side of the aisle you're on, and you're seeing more and more of that.
Well, as much as I'm loath to say it, was Ron Connect right? Are we going to become East California?
No.
No.
No, I don't believe we will.
But you know, I think a lot of that was done tongue-in-cheek as far as that comment was concerned. But he was concerned about the direction that was taken, and it was primarily with respect to the gross receipts tax, which business uniformly opposed and will continue to oppose.
Okay, any quick predictions from anybody?
Yes, for Brian Sandoval, Harvey mentioned his name being floated for another constitutional office or a congressional seat, perhaps. He's got a job to do and a contract with Nevadans, and he's going to fulfill it.
Okay, enough of the political stuff. We'll be right back.
Big Apple Pizza, best pizza in Nevada, take one.
Today we're making homemade meatballs for a meatball parm. You like cheesesteak? I think you're like in South Philly right now. It's the best cheese ever made. Now that's how a Philly cheesesteak's supposed to look.
And here's little Cole.
This is authentic. We'll throw some pepperoni in here. Not gonna be shy about it. Yeah, I bet you guys didn't know I could do that. Don't skimp on the toppings. Authentic as it gets. Big Apple Pizza and Subs on the corner of Bering and McCarran, a New Jersey guy who knows how to make an East Coast pizza.
Would you like to savor a Trento pork chop? Or maybe pasta rags with grilled chicken? Hugo's Tuscan Grill at D'Andrea is a celebration of color, flavor, and freshness. Each dish is created from natural, wholesome foods that is delicious and nutritious. Hugo's is a comfortable restaurant with breathtaking city views. If you enjoy great food and good company, visit us here at Hugo's. It's the best that dining can be. 2900 South D'Andrea Parkway in Sparks.
It's America's largest historical district, and it's fun for the entire family. Virginia City is where the West comes alive every day, from train rides to gunslingers. Your gang can explore mines and interesting museums, visit historic saloons, and do some great shopping. Virginia City is the ultimate in family entertainment, and it's very affordable. Come up and stay overnight in our hotels, motels, and RV park. Virginia City, the Wild West at its best.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
See you Labor Day.
We'll see you then. Also, listen on Sunday to KOH.